So we're back again with another outrageous Shy Squad impulse buy. And much like that Harley Benton 7-string over there, this rubber band pocket bass was the kind of thing I was never keen on, never thought I'd own, never thought I'd pay money for. But because of various reasons, I've been in the market for toy guitars, and I saw the Thomann summer sale, and the magic internet advertising worked its infernal charm upon me. 57% off, €149, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do this. The Kala U-Bass Bamboo 4NT, and U-Bass does not stand for ukulele bass. It stands for Upton Bass, after Mike Upton, founder and owner of Kala brand musical instruments. Now, the first thing you're probably going to notice if you ever get this thing in your hand is the craftsmanship, because this thing does not seem like a toy at all. There are no cheap components. This is all real stuff, and the craftsmanship, this is the first instrument I've ever seen that's made out of all bamboo, and at first glance, it looks like a solid piece of wood, but a closer inspection reveals that it's a whole bunch of tiny bamboo strips all glued together, and that is some meticulous work. It's not like running a big plank of wood through a CNC machine and having a rough guitar body come out. Whoever made this really was piecing these things together and must have been a painstaking pain in the ass. And I think it looks pretty cool. Now, these rubber band strings really are a painstaking pain in the ass, because they got a break-in time of about a month. And for that first month, you're going to be cranking on them, and it barely moves because they're stretching while you crank on the tuning head. And you got this little tuner in there that is gonna be your worst enemy, because it always goes sharp. See that A going sharp? I had this in perfect tune last night, and I have had this for about a month. Now, the rubber band strings, though, I appreciate it. This is a necessity, because this is the first acoustic instrument with a piezo transducer that makes a sound I actually like, and I think that's the rubber band strings just smoothing out the sound, because with steel strings or bronze phosphorus strings, it always sounds scratchy and ice picky in a bad way. And with this, you really gotta baby it and make sure the strings don't start slapping on the fretboard and going all over the place. But if you can play with a modicum of finesse, which is not my forte, but it's good practice, it sounds pretty smooth through this preamp, because what you do is turn the bass all the way up and the mid-range and treble all the way down, and it starts sounding more like what you want it to sound like than pretty much all acoustic electrics I've ever seen. I don't know, I could go on ranting and raving about how much I hate piezos, because it's so frustrating. The idea of a crystal that converts pressure into an electrical signal is awesome, but then they always sound like shite. The break-in period is what's going to turn people off and make them think it's a toy, even though it's justified. You got to keep in mind this is a work of science to get a bass tuned to E1 like a regular bass guitar with a scale length of 530 millimeters or 20.86 inches. And that's what requires the synthetic elastomer rubber band strings that are huge. also the E and A strings seem to be made out of a different material as the D and G, because the big fat ones are kind of more rubbery, and the skinny ones are kind of more plasticky and hard. It looks like they have a hard coating on them or something, but they're definitely not the same. And I think that might affect the performance of the G string because it's noticeably harder than all the other ones. That does stymie some of my favorite riffs. But it definitely sounds alright down here. So at this point I'm going to have to stick in a little addendum because I just took this out to a jam session and made a couple observations. See, if you just run it into a dirty amp and play loud and grungy AF, it takes care of a lot of that shiesty sound I was talking about, why you gotta baby it. Because if you hit too hard, the strings slap and stuff, and apparently if you're going for some kind of grunge sound, a lot of that goes away. And apparently that also works at home on a little baby amp. Now, it does have really fine fretwork, and I wish more production guitars in the affordable category were like this, because it's rounded and polished and not sharp and nice and flat and everything you want. Graft Tech new bone nut, and does kind of fart out in the first and second fret position on the E string. So I already mentioned how this thing might cramp your style because you gotta pluck so lightly to get a good sound. It's almost like an exercise machine for fine pick and finesse, which is something I'm really not good at because I'm more of one of those wayward, degenerate bass players who commits the vile, sinful act of playing with a pick. So I got these Ortega uke pick ass. Dedicated leather ukulele picks promising warm, soft tones with no loss of volume. So, better than expected. I guess I'll give it a try, bring it to the jam session tonight. Try it with distortion too. So it sounds like even with distortion, sounds way better fingerstyle when you're trying to baby it than it does with uke pick ass. Now, they do give you some pretty nice stuff. You get this rather nice padded bag with a pocket and a truss rod wrench, because it does have a truss rod because it's the real deal. And they give you 2 3-volt lithium batteries that go in this little compartment here. And you also get some hilarious reading material for U-bass, Aguila, Thunderblack strings, and Graphtec new bone nut. So this brings us to the big question. Is it worth $300? Now, before that jam session the other day, I was kind of ambivalent as to the real life practicality of this thing, because unplugged it's not nearly loud enough to hang with a steel string acoustic guitar. But after I got a chance to rock it in the bunker, I'm pretty well persuaded that this thing is close enough to a full-fledged bass guitar to make it worth your while. And the craftsmanship is definitely worth $300. I mean, this is nicely made, nice components. I heard this pickup EQ thing is worth $150 by itself. Some guy in the Talk Bass forum said that. That'd be cool if it's true. And the bamboo construction, I think it looks really cool. And for reasons of environmental sustainability, it grows way faster than wood. It's way harder than most woods. And what I'm hoping is that it'll sustain the tone wood war, because there is nothing finer in this life than to argue with people on the internet about whether it makes a difference and whether their mahogany, Gibson, flame, maple top is going to sound better than something made out of plywood, and arguing about something made of bamboo that's glued together so it's like 50% of resinous epoxy. That's going to be awesome. I hope it happens. I hope some pencil pushers in the European Parliament catch wind of this, and once they realize you can make guitars out of bamboo, they're going to mandate it and force everybody to make guitars out of bamboo, so that conventional guitars out of regular tree flesh will become symbols of the revolution, and it'll be like we can make a dystopian rock opera like Kilroy Was Here, or Joe's Garage, about how we fought back against a man with our tree flesh guitars. We could call it tree flesh. Now, that would be cool. If we can get another 10 years of death threats on the internet and bring back Wyatt and all those guys, bring back Will Galvin and Scott Grove to argue about how it doesn't matter, that'll be awesome. So yeah, I think it's worth it now. I mean, it is fun to play unplugged. The rubber band strings, that's really a hard sell. Maybe there's some way to stretch it. I was thinking if they found some other way to tune it, like other than conventional tuning winder things, like if you had like a clamp that just like stretches the strings and then clamps it, and like like a slider, and then locks it in place. It seems like it would be better. Maybe they already thought of that and tried it and decided not to, but I'm sure there's Ned Steinberger could probably think of a better way to hook up a tuning apparatus for these rubber band strings, because that is going to be the most frustrating aspect of this. But I still think it's worth it. It is really nice and mellow to play with at home when you're meditating, because to me that is the main value of this thing, is your personal peace of mind, something to jam on when nothing else is available, because I think it is close enough to a real bass that you won't be frustrated if for whatever reason you're stuck with this being your only option, nothing else is available, and it's pretty good to jam on. So keep that in mind when you pack your bug out bag and get ready to float on down to your apocalypto paradise after the inevitable downfall of civilization.